Greetings and salutations. So I don't have a cup of tea with me today, so I can't do the little sippy thing. It's a really struggling time. I need to drink more tea. Today I'm going to be doing something that I haven't really done on my channel before, but I kind of have, but I haven't at the same time. Basically, I'm going to be doing a booktube video because I've been watching so much booktube lately. So I'm going to be doing a book talk on the book that I have read most recently, or finished most recently, because I'm reading something else already. Magnus Chase and the Ship of the Dead. This book came out October 3rd. It is now October 5th where I am at this time of filming. I finished it over 24 hours ago. I read this book in 25 hours and it didn't feel like I was ever, you know, like forcing myself to read or like trying to read it really quickly. It's just, I just wanted to keep reading it and I was enjoying every single second of it. This book is the third and final book in the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard trilogy by Rick Riordan. If you know me at all, you know how much I love Rick Riordan's novels. This is actually my favourite Rick Riordan series besides the first Percy Jackson series, because that will always have a place in my heart. I definitely 100% prefer this to the Kane Chronicles or Heroes of Olympus or what's the other one, Trials of Apollo. I completely prefer this series. I recommend it so much. You don't have to have read Percy Jackson to read it. There's just a few little like character nods you won't really understand. You may not understand the whole thing about, you know, when Annabeth offers him help in the first book and when when Percy and Annabeth come in this book, but I cannot recommend it enough. Besides that, this is now going to be filled with spoilers, so if you are planning on reading this series and you don't want to be spoiled, then please click away now and come back once you've read it. I could, like, just read it, please read this series. Okay, so now, spoilers. Yay! This book opens with such a good scene. Every single book in this series has had like a fantastic opening scene, but I really love the opening scene of this book. The first sentence, "Try it again," Percy told me, "this time with less dying," opens up with Percy training Magnus on like how to properly dive into the ocean without dying before Magnus goes off on his quest, and like Alex and Annabeth are on the side, like Annabeth is like, you know, rooting him on and Alex is just kind of like scrutinizing him. Oh my god, and there's this little like sentence. "Sometimes I slipped up and used the wrong pronouns for him/her. So Alex likes to return the favor by teasing me mercilessly because friendship." I cannot tell you how much I love that line. There's so much like good quality content about Alex being gender fluid in this novel and I'm so here for it. And there was that literal part where Percy and Annabeth were like, you know, bantering as they do, and then like it just had Percy wrapped his arm around her and Annabeth like melted it into his arms, and I was like, why is this? It's something out of a fan fiction, but that's canon now. And we found out the name of Percy's baby. His baby is named Estelle after Sally's mum, little Estelle Blowfist, and I'm so happy about it. And Percy was babysitting her and everything is happy and lovely. And then as Percy and Annabeth are like leaving, it says that like Percy's singing like Led Zeppelin or something, and Annabeth is just laughing at him and like literal fan fiction. Oh my god. And before Percy and Annabeth like went away, like Jack the Sword had like a full-on crush on Riptide, and then like for like the next few chapters he's like acting all heartbroken over Riptide, and it's everything to me. Then we get back to the hotel and everything's fine and dandy and they're gathering everyone to go board the ship, and then some like flood thing happens, so they all have to be like, quick, we have to leave now. And so Magnus like he has this really cool napkin that like unfolds into the ship, and then he unfolds it, and then he's like, no one comments on the gorgeous structure or, you know, the amazing rails or the size or how it's bigger than normal boats of this type. I can't really remember, I read it very quickly, I can't remember the details. And then he goes, but what does everyone comment on? And they're all like, why is it yellow? I don't know why it's yellow, okay? I don't know. And then they end up calling it like the big banana because it looks like this huge banana. It's this bright neon yellow boat that they're like riding into war against like the trickster god. There are no books like Rick Riordan books. Not long after sailing, they get like swallowed by these people who I can't really remember because I read this book very quickly and I didn't take notes on it, which I should have done seeing as I'm doing a book talk. They get swallowed by these people and the people are like, oh yes, they were talking about mead. I don't know how to pronounce words. Mead. They were talking about the kind of like alcoholic drink for Norse gods. I think it's kind of like that. I can't really remember the context, but someone was talking about honey, and Magnus goes like, honey? And then Alex just goes, don't call me that. And he's just so like, no, Magnus. And it's so funny. And I love the relationship between Alex and Magnus in this book because it's progressed so much. And then they're in the middle of the hall and Magnus like stands up and gets on the table. And then in ASL, Alex goes like, your fly's open. And then Magnus has to like subtly check. And then once the battle has like started, he's like, if you slip out and my daughters somehow don't defeat you in battle, then we can say goodbye, and that'll be an unfortunate event that happened, and that's what I will tell my wife. Yes. Magnus like pulls out Jack and he's like, I need you to fight. And Jack's like, yep, got it, cool, I'm going. And he's like slashing everyone up and he's like, won't you take me to Green on your funky town? While he's like slicing and dicing. I love Jack. He's like low-key my favourite character in the whole series, which is weird because he's a sword, but this book was just, I enjoyed it so much. I just have so much more fun reading Rick Riordan books than any other author's books. I can say that in 100% certainty. There was another few Doctor Who references in this one and like nods to Scott Pilgrim and stuff, which makes me so happy as a nerd. Oh my goodness. Okay, the scene with Pottery Barn was so funny to me. Like, it was scary obviously because people were like in danger and shit was happening, but like the fact that they named this little dude Pottery Barn and he was like in the middle of battle and they were referring to him as Pottery Barn was hysterical to me. I couldn't stop laughing throughout that whole scene just because every time they called him Pottery Barn I lost it. Something I love so much about this book is you see so much more of the backstories of like Mallory and Halfborn and TJ. We find out so much more about how they each died, especially Mallory and TJ, how they each died and how they each got to Valhalla, and I really found that interesting. We met Mallory's mum in this book, who was kind of lovely, but Mallory was kind of like very standoffish, but you know, for a godly parent, she seemed nice. They can't come into their lives all that often, or they choose not to. For a godly mother, she seemed good. She seemed nice. My heart absolutely shattered when we had to go back to Hurst's father and he hadn't taken off the ring and he had completely transformed into this dragon creature just from pure greed and hate. The way Hurst reacted to her, that kid cannot catch a break. He had the hardest childhood and he's still dealing with the effects of it so often, and I'm so grateful that he has Blitz to help him get through this stuff. But it was just so sad, especially after Magnus had killed his father and he was contemplating whether to eat the heart or not. My heart just absolutely broke for this poor elf. And when he like conjured his brother with the rune stone, I was like, oh my goodness gracious. And his brother was like, yeah, no, when I threw my coin into the well, I was wishing to be like you. You're perfect, brother. I was sobbing. I was literal tears were pouring out of my eyes. Something that made me really happy / angry was when Alex kissed Magnus underneath the blanket when they were really, really cold. They were in it wasn't Niflheim. Where's the really cold place? I can't remember. The really cold place, the land of the frost giants. Like freezing to death, Alex kissed him and then they didn't talk about it like at all for ages, and I just got battle flashbacks to when Percy and Annabeth didn't talk about the fact that they kissed until halfway through the last Olympian. But I was really happy that it happened and it was really cute, and Magnus was just like in awe of what was happening and Alex was just like, okay, let's keep going, calm down. The fight with Loki was so intense. I was like on the edge of my seat. I couldn't put my book down. I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. I was so, oh my god, I was so scared of the outcome. But as soon as like Loki said, you know, like, oh Sam dear, hold my scarf or whatever it was, and Sam was just like, no father, hold it yourself, I was like, oh my girl Sam. When Loki was completely like crushing Magnus, like he was like shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and then Magnus was just like, wait, I love my friends, let's talk about my friends for a minute. And then he kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, just talking about how great all his friends were and all of their accomplishments. It made me so happy. I love this series so incredibly much because it's just so based in love and familial love and friendship. It's not, you know, super focused on romance like I kind of feel like Heroes of Olympus was very focused on the romance between each character. Leo finding Calypso, Hazel and Frank, Percy and Annabeth, like Jason and Piper. I feel like it was very heavily done in that, but Magnus Chase is a complete 360 and it's all about family and friendship, and I love that so much. And then after everything's over and they have that dinner with the gods, and they don't get like the proper thank yous, but they don't really want to like mention it to Odin because he thinks he's doing them a really good job. And they go back to Valhalla and they're having a feast, and then, you know, Sam and Amir and Alex, I think, goes off with them, and then like Magnus is just like chilling and they're having a party and they're eating food, and then he goes back into the hotel, and then Alex comes in and they're talking about the one proposition that Magnus did ask for. Magnus is like, oh yeah, that proposal, right. And then Alex was like, oh, and draw the proposal, and just like smashes his face onto Magnus's face, and it's beautiful and lovely. And there's this part that I really adore where inside of Magnus's inner monologue, he was like, wait, Alex is a dude right now. I'm kissing a dude. How do I feel about that? I'm kissing Alex Fierro. I don't care. I feel great about that. And then it ends with just him and Alex chilling on the rooftop of the Chase space, I think is what they called it, which is a safe space for homeless youths. I think it was youths. It may have just been all homeless people in Boston. And they were just talking about how happy they were that they made it, and they were looking around at all the kids there. Oh my god, no, wait, I have to talk about the fucking phone call. The fucking phone call. No, I'm so angry at Rick about this. So, near the end of the book, Magnus calls up Annabeth to make sure that he can use Uncle Randolph's house, and Annabeth is cool with it because technically it was under Annabeth's name, and she's like, that's a great idea. And then he was like, sound like you've been crying. Are you okay, cuz? I will be. We got some bad news when we got out here. Is Percy okay? Yeah. Okay as can be expected, I guess. I can't deal with the fact that my babies are sad and I don't know what to do, and I'm so worried that we're not going to find out why they were upset until 2019 when book 4 of Trials of Apollo comes out, because that's when Apollo is scheduled to get to New Rome, which is where Percy and Annabeth are. One of the first things that crossed my mind was Estelle better be okay, and the second thought was Grover's going back into the labyrinth in book 3 of Trials of Apollo. What if Grover's not okay? And I don't want to think about that. I'm pushing that thought far away. I'm not dealing with that. Like, bye bad thoughts about Grover. He's gonna be fine. Leave. Besides that, I was very happy with the ending. The only thing is, I feel like he's left this open for Magnus and Alex and Sam and Blitz and her to all kind of return, because at the end of the day, Ragnarok is only prevented. It's only delayed. It's still not actually happening, and I get that the whole point is that they're like preventing it as long as possible, because Ragnarok literally will kill everyone, and including most of them. But I feel like the fact that in the end they still only delayed it, just maybe it's nodding that maybe sometime in the future they might have to delay it again, or they might have to actually face it in a future series. I don't know, but Rick Riordan can be quite shady. Anyway, that is all. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more book-related videos. I am such an avid reader, so I'd love to make more book-related videos, but if no one enjoys watching them, then I obviously won't. Let me know if you read the Magnus Chase series as well, or if you've read any of Rick Riordan's books, or if you plan to after watching this video. Just talk to me. I want to talk about this book forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Mwah.